Hi, it's Dave here from Elysium Sophia, and we welcome you as it's really approaching Christmas now. We've been training this morning, and we've also been Christmas shopping, so it really is heading towards Christmas. And if you're joining us today, feel free to sing along and relax and start your Christmas early, I suppose, but welcome to our live this afternoon here at Elysium Sophia. If you're joining us from all across the world, from the Philippines, we say hi. From Indonesia, from Asia, from Africa, from Saudi Arabia and the Middle East, from Qatar, from Bahrain, from the United Emirates, and of course, from our friends across in Europe, from our second home in Cyprus. If you're joining us from here in the UK, friends of Sophia's, we say hi. And how are you today? And are you ready for Christmas? We also say hi to our friends from across the pond in the USA. If you want to join us today and have a chat, a light-hearted chat today, because it really is starting to look a lot like Christmas everywhere we go. And it really is now starting to look a lot like Christmas, because what is it now? It's the 23rd, is it today? Tomorrow's Christmas Eve, and it really is nearly Christmas. Penny already wanting to welcome people to our chat, so I'll let the panda get on with what she does best. Apart from dancing and Thai boxing and kickboxing, that's welcoming you to our chat.
Hello everybody, Penny the Panda here from Elysium Sophia. So the first person we have is I don't know what my name is, or Katie.
Katie,
So, hello,
how are you?
Katie says hi, yeah, I'm fine.
Hi, and Katie, we're back on the other channel, on the other side. I'll let Sophia tell you all about that.
We have a new account, which is called Elysium, which we will be going live on that account. Thank you so much for joining us.
And you'll be able to see us again if you want to join us on our chat on the other side. Hello from the other side. We have missed you. We've missed all our friends on the other platform, but now we're back. So it's really nice to be back. We went live the day before yesterday, back on the other side, and we were inundated by people who it was really kind words from people saying hi and supporting us and welcoming us back. We had quite a lot of people on the chat, and it was really good. Nice to see our old friends again, including. Well, I won't mention any more names. I'll let Sophia do that. But again, you're welcome today, Katie, and your mum, whoever's joining us. And we really do wish you a happy Christmas. Because obviously, chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nibbling at your toes, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe will help to make the season bright. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. They know that Santa's on his way, and he'll have lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child has got a spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. Not off, mate, those reindeers fly through the sky, mate. Christmas time, yeah? Of course it is, mate, not off. Christmas is a time where we chillax. We hope that, we were saying today, we did our good deed for the day today. It was really nice because we went for a sandwich, a nice hot sandwich. Not mentioning what was on it. We did our bit and went out, and there was a homeless person there, and we gave them a nice hot sandwich and a nice hot drink, and felt the glow there because people need to be helping and looking at people at this time of year because it's so dreadful out there. And if we can spread a little happiness as we go by, we try, and we do. Penny.
Kate said, can't wait for you guys to go live on the other app.
Oh, we can't wait. I say 2 days ago we were there, and we'll be back again ASAP.
Kate said, oh, that's nice of you guys.
It was, thank you, and we felt nice doing it. And I just wish more people would do that. So if you can do that, and if you're out there watching, if you're buying yourself a a hot sandwich or a drink or something, and you do see a homeless person, try and do your bit if you can. Because they always say that we're only one sleep away ourselves from being homeless. It's not a very savouring thought, not a very happy thought to think about, but it is true. We never know. We've had so many ups and downs, especially this year, and I'm not just talking COVID. Our lives have taken so many different turns over the last couple of years. And one minute you're high, the next minute you're not so high, and then you run a high again, and it's like a roller coaster. But you never know. You just never know what's around the corner, and it is nice to be nice to people on the way up, because you never know who you're going to meet on the way down before you go back up again. Because it is a roller coaster, and I do suggest that people try, especially this time of year, to try and think about those less fortunate, not just financially or emotionally, but there are so many people out there around Christmas time, and it's a time for giving, not for receiving, and it is a time to think about other people. I know people are saying this year, it's not the people that's we've had COVID this year, and we have, and it's been dreadful. It's been a year to get rid of this year. Get out of the way. Nearly broke my kneecap then. But if you think about it, this year we can't wait to get rid of it. It's been a year that we need to reflect on, we need to remember it, and then move on, big styley. Because it's been a year where people's mental health have suffered immensely. People's finances, a lot of people have suffered immensely. People's state of mind, just been horrendous for lots and lots of people, and again, that's Christmas time. We have the introduction now of Tier 4, where people can do absolutely nothing, really, but we can see our families. We can see our families for Christmas Day, and it won't really matter and make any difference to us, because we always have a very small family Christmas on Christmas Day. We do bob out and see other relations, but this year, obviously, it's going to be a nice festive stay-at-home Christmas for most of us. But again, restock and recharge, and then move on and move forward, because there's still a lot of Christmas left. There's a lot of Christmas to go for. And again, if we draw a line under COVID this year, and then we move on, and just get rid of this year. It's been nothing but terrible this year. Not happy at all. If you're joining us today on our chat show, as you know, Katie, we've evolved this channel, Elysium Sophia, into a chat show, and we've been chatting about what's your favourite Christmas song, Katie? Or your mum? What's your favourite Christmas film? Or what's your most favourite thing you like to do at Christmas? Share it with us. And if you're joining us today, as I mentioned earlier, from Europe, from Scandinavia, how are you celebrating your Christmas? And here, if you're Sophia's friends, how are you celebrating Christmas this year? Are you watching us today? Are you waiting in the wings? Or are you going to chat and say hi? Because Sophia would love to speak to you, to say hi, and to recognise you, because we're not all rushing back to school again, so it'll be a while again before you get back together again. So it would be nice. We will be broadcasting through Christmas and the New Year anyway. So you're always welcome to come and say hi. But of course, it's Christmas time, mistletoe and wine, children singing Christian rhyme, with birds and all that, etc., etc., etc. Penny.
Hello, so we've got Creepy who says hey.
Creepy, hi. How are you, Creepy?
Thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to give this live stream a thumbs up, and thank you.
A real light-hearted show today, Creepy. We're not going to be on air for as long as usual, because we just want to bob in and say hi and spread a bit of happiness as we go by. How is you? And how's your wife? And a massive, massive happy Christmas to you and your wife early. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully over Christmas and in the new year you'll keep bobbing in and joining us, because you are welcome, because chat shows are all the more and better for people like you and you joining us, because it's always nice to hear a different viewpoint and people that have got an educated viewpoint. So again, have a great Christmas, mate.
Creepy said, I'm good, mate, how are you?
We're fine.
And also, fair one, Merry Christmas.
Who will?
Creepy said, fair one, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Katie said, I've also been busy. I gave a homeless person a donut recently.
Oh,
I met
cool,
him
yeah.
the other day and gave him my drink. My mum and I actually spend Christmas watching movies with a snack and usually go to the park with my dad.
Oh, lovely. Oh, that's a really nice way to celebrate Christmas. And again, as you said to us, we replicated that. If you can, do a little bit for the homeless around Christmas time. If everybody did just share a thought or just do something, but we're just saying, Creepy, that we bobbed out this morning and we had a sandwich, hot sandwich and a drink. We took one to, there was a homeless guy on the other side of the road, and we just, it was great because we were able to get an extra one. Get a nice hot sandwich. Yes, it was hot roast pork, and it was stuffing, and it was divine. And the guy obviously was so grateful, and it was lovely. Nice hot drink, because this weather's awful. Not what it's like in the Philippines at the moment, mate, but it's not good here at all. It's that horrible rain that just, it's cold, and it's that horrible, constant rainy thing. It's not nice.
Creepy said that's nice.
Oh,
and also, Katie said, thanks, I'm sure you did some nice things too.
yeah, it's just great. I mean, I hope you, and Katie, I hope Santa brings you all your everything on your list that you want. And if you've done something nice like that for the people who are less fortunate than us, and you know, that's great. So good on you, to you and to your mum.
Creepy said 32 degrees C2
Oh my word, 32 degrees.
Celsius.
And is it cloudy, 32 degrees? Is it humid or is it sunny?
And Katie said, I'm sure he enjoyed the meal you gave him.
I'm sure he did. I think he sent to me. He tucked into it anyway, by the way.
And Creepy said, can't have the aircon either, as the electric is too expensive over here.
Oh my word, is it that bad? Is it that expensive? I mean, Creepy, we spend as much time as we can in Cyprus, our second home. We love Cyprus. I just don't know how people cook like you're doing now without aircon, because obviously without aircon in Cyprus, I would just, I don't know, I just don't know, because you just rely on it so much. Really hot. Last time we were in Cyprus, what was it, 46, 45? It was absolutely toast-mongers, mate.
No, it's sunny, but it's late at night.
It's late at night, of course it is. I keep forgetting. Sorry about that. Of course it's late at night. Every time you join us, it's late at night. Just because it's early here, my brain just doesn't switch on while 10 minutes into the chat. But so yeah, in Cyprus, when we get out there, I just don't know how people cope with without aircon, especially when it's humid. We go into Paphos harbour on a night as often as we can. And it's amazing, but it's so humid on a night. Obviously, when it starts to go dusk, and then when we get back into our hotel, and we get back into where we're staying, it's always so humid, and so we get the aircon straight on.
Creep said, on average, if you don't use anything hardly, it's $80, like £70 a month.
Yeah.
But it's gone up to £190, $200. And Paphos is lovely.
It is. It's amazing. I just wonder if you pass through there in your service days, mate, because obviously a lot of service guys come through Paphos. We notice a lot of the military personnel bombing in and out there every time we go over.
It's about 35 through the day, but I have a fan in my face.
That's all right then. At least you've got something. I don't know. It's absolutely it's one of those days today when I'm looking out the window now and I can't even see that robin friend that Sophia talked about every time she comes on.
We have a robin that's always looking at us.
Bobbing up and down and staring at us and looking out the window. But even that's not here today. It's rainy. It's probably washed it away. I don't know.
Creepy said, no, been on holidays in Paphos, never been out on duty, lol.
You know that.
And we've got Gnome Size. I can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry, who says hello. So hello, I can't.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to our chat.
Please don't forget to give this live stream a thumbs up and thank you. Cream said, I actually missed the cold, lol.
You actually missed the call. We long to miss the call.
No days is cold over there.
No days cold, no, I can imagine. I think I probably would if we were there all the time. Like when we're in Cyprus, we love it. We do like to get back to over here to feel the fresh air again. But then once we've been back for about 2 weeks, we're ready to go back to Cyprus again. But if we were there all the time, as you are in the Philippines, then probably it would get a bit scorchio and humid. I don't know.
Just wait for it to come on.
It's doing what?
Through summer, it's horrid.
It's horrid in summer, is it? But what kind of temperatures do you get out there in the Philippines? Whereabouts are you? Are you near the coast, or are you actually really inland?
Temperature's nearly 40 some days.
Okay. But it's over here in the UK at the moment. It's that time betwixt now and Christmas where this year is very, very strange. Because we went training this morning early. What's on the side now again? We were doing some training together, and then we came back. We went to the shops, and it was strange because the shops were relatively quiet. To say it's this time of year, usually around this time it's heaving. But we did go past a very famous food hall, M&S. And they were queuing. There must have been 40 or 50 people queuing like crazy. And it was in the papers yesterday about riots breaking out in lots of stores over Brussels sprouts, over vegetables. People going crazy at each other and dragging them off each other. Because it's getting like that at the moment. Everybody's silly and panicking about the Dover situation at the moment, but also with a view to a lockdown again, maybe potentially, probably is going to happen after Christmas. We know more today. People fighting over Brussels sprouts, people fighting over cabbage, broccoli, stew, absolute crazy. You know, I mean, there's plenty out there, and they're about food perishing and etc., etc., etc. But I mean, come on. Fighting over Brussels sprouts, not good.
Excuse me, sorry.
Are you having another drink, my little panda?
Creepy said, now we're about and half from the closest waterfront. 1 hour away from Imus and 1 hour away from the Tal volcano, so pretty inland. I wouldn't mind being near the beach. I'll be sea swimming every day though.
Yeah.
And Katie said, do you know that in Africa it's actually hot where I live, like 36 degrees, which is 96 Fahrenheit.
Oh my word.
And Creepy said, who fights over Brussels? They're horrid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I must confess, I do still believe Brussels sprouts. I do like them at Christmas. I do actually like sprouts, and Sophia's actually, we're both strange, we actually like Brussels sprouts, but I wouldn't go to war over them. And Katie, which part of Africa are you actually from? It's great to be that temperature around now. It's still that temperature. Whereabouts are you? Nairobi side, South Africa. You did tell us before it was the IMAS that joined us a couple of weeks ago. That's from Kenya. Whereabouts are you? Did you say again in Africa, Katie and your mum? Which part of Africa are you in? Is it South Africa? Is it Nairobi? Is it Tanzania? Whereabouts are you from? Because I think it was the IMAS that they were from Kenya. We were chatting about weather over there. But it's always nice to chat to people that are in nice warm climates. But people fighting for Brussels sprouts in our local supermarkets at the moment, fighting over the Christmas food, and there's plenty to go round. But I think everybody's scared because of the. I don't know whether you've both of you have seen the queues at Dover at the moment. And again, we've said all along about this situation. We are a so-called island. We are self-sufficient. But Europe needs us and we need Europe, and it's the most silliest thing to come out of Europe as far as we're concerned, because this just goes to show if things like this happen. Penny.
Excuse me, sorry. Creepy said, is that all year round? My name is. And Katie said southern part of Africa.
The southern part of
Phoebe
Africa.
said now if it was a Yorkshire pudding, and be swinging some plums with me. Lol, love them.
Yeah, I know. So do we. And we're, as you know, we're in God's country ourselves, so we're in Yorkshire. So Yorkshire pudding is it depends on what people eat Yorkshire pudding in different ways as well. We're very much savoury Yorkshire pudding people. But people actually in Yorkshire do actually have the first serving of the meal as a Yorkshire pudding. And so, but if I had my way, I think I'd do that, which we do. So you have your first serving of Yorkshire pudding and gravy, and then obviously with your main meal, then we also have Yorkshire pudding and gravy. So it's quite interesting.
Phoebe said, how far from Catterick are you?
Catterick, I'd say about 60 miles, something like that.
Katie said, I choked on my water when you said you like Brussels sprouts, but if you like it's good, plus it's also healthy.
Of course it is, yeah. I think around 60 miles, creepy, from Catterick, something like that. Not quite sure, but it's the barracks around here. I think I don't quite know where the nearest one is. Probably Catterick is one of the nearest ones, but it's. Things have been happening over the last 2 or 3 weeks where it's now come to a head over here, and I think people are. We mentioned it the other day, didn't we, Creepy? That this new variation of COVID that's supposed to be around, and apparently it's still down the southeast and London area, but it's making its way up, and it's scaring the bejeebies out of people because it was on the news today that people still believe that the inoculations, the vaccinations, won't. It will affect them, but it won't. It's just a small variation by the sounds of things. It just means that it's transmitting a lot faster. They mutate, don't they? Viruses always mutate, and this one's just mutating and changing as we speak.
Creep said I used to be based in Catterick.
Catterick, yeah, a lot of local people go up to Catterick.
Large Yorkshire with garlic mash in the centre and nice Cumberland sausage on top, moistened with lots of gravy. Oh God, I missed that.
I can imagine. We'll have one. We'll have some Yorkshire pudding and gravy, especially for you this Christmas.
Harrogate, maybe.
Harrogate, yeah. Harrogate's closer. Yeah. Harrogate's closer. Harrogate's a great place, like Harrogate, North Yorkshire, but it's not that far really. Harrogate. Once you get past Leeds. Because obviously we're coming from between Sheffield and Manchester, Derbyshire border. Then we go up towards Leeds and then up that way.
People said, yeah, people just need to shut up, start listening and do as they're told, but no one does that, as they don't like being told what to do.
Yeah, it's just true.
People said Harrogate is the foundation college for Phase 1 army training.
Yeah, it is, and it's also, a lot of my friends are ex-police, and they trained in Harrogate. Also trained up at, is it RAF Dishforth? A lot up there originally. Obviously, more training is done in house now, but originally a lot of the older guys went up to Dishforth, up in North Yorkshire, a bit higher up there. But it's people aren't listening. People still aren't listening, and people are still trying to move from areas that are tier 4 into tier 3, into tier 2. But now I think it's getting. We're looking at the news today. York, in particular. Having a lot of issues because I think York are one of the areas that are still in tier 2, so they can do a little bit more, but people are coming from other areas now into York, and now they're asking for ID, and they are actually making arrests and actually fining people for coming out of tiers, because it's going to happen. A lot of the West country, as in Northwest Wales, across there, coming into, they're in tier 2, and now moving across to tier 3 areas, and that's going to cause a lot of grief as well. I think I'm presuming that after Boxing Day, a lot of the UK will be in what looks like tier 4. I think they're going to have to, and I think they're just going to have to buy a bit of time until the vaccine comes out there. I think originally everybody was hoping. Boris was saying today how many people have been vaccinated already, which is amazing. It's brilliant, but still a long way to go. Still a long way to go before people can feel it's safe to come into the water.
You said we don't have tiers over here. What's the tiers all about?
The tiers, well, basically, tier 1 is a few places are in tier 1. A few places down south in Cornwall, a few areas down south are in tier 1. And tier 1 means you can pretty much do what you want within reason. Tier 2 then is you can't meet in households, and you can only meet outside. Tier 3, which we're in, is you can't mix. Tier 2 and Tier 3 are very similar, but Tier 2 and Tier 3 means that you can still go to the gym. You can still see friends, but you can't meet friends in your house apart from Christmas Day. And Tier 4, which is the new one, is all the gyms are closed and non-essential shops are closed as well, which is the one you don't want to be in because that means everything's just closed down. It's basically lock up again or lockdown.
Katie said I'm actually 180 hours away from Catterick.
Katie is?
Which is 8,550.
180 hours away, wow. Now that's taking it to the extreme,
And
Katie.
Creepy said haha wow.
I know, bonkers, isn't it? It really is, but Tier 4 is the one that we were all thinking, oh no, wow, we don't want to go back into that again, because Tier 4 is basically a lockdown, non-essential goods, clothes shop, but they're non-essential. Clothes aren't essential apparently, so other clothes shops close, and then shops that are selling, people that get away with it, are people kind of like hardware stores. That's anywhere that sells food is okay. So if you sell food, then you're okay. But I did notice the other day, well, not the other day, but it's about 4 weeks ago now when this all started. HMV started to sell sweets and crisps and biscuits and things, so they could stay open during lockdown. And pubs can't open unless they prove that they are selling substantial meals. And I think substantial means something hot. So you can't just have a sandwich. If you put some chips on there, some fries on there, then it's okay. But that's again, it's very complicated over here at the moment.
Creepy said I'm 10.632 thousand miles away from Catterick.
Quite a way then. Not somewhere we could jump in and out.
Okay, now I understand.
It's not somewhere we could bob into Catterick and out again, is it? It's not something you would do. The tier system's bonkers, and it's changing all the time. We have Bojo telling us something today, later on today, which this is one of the reasons why we're cutting this one not as long today, because there's another announcement today about what's happening tomorrow on Christmas Eve, and then on Boxing Day. That's when things are either going to go, because you can. Originally, Boris said to us that we could have which was crazy anyway, the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, I think it was, when families could meet, and then it all changed because of this new mutation. And in Tier 4, which is now all of London and most of the London boroughs and areas, Hertfordshire, Herefordshire, all that area, they're all in Tier 4 now, and they can't even mix at Christmas. They can't even mix on Christmas Day. But us, we can mix on Christmas Day. Up to 3 households can mix together for one day. Whether it's worth it or not, I don't know. But people can only move around the country as well. Let me just tell this one, my darling. People can only, because I'll lose the thread on it, my sweetheart. If you can only move around the country for one day this year, which is Christmas Day, which is going to play havoc with the roads, because that's the only day people officially can move around to be with other people. So the roads are going to be a bit of a mare. They're usually very quiet, aren't they, on Christmas Day? But Christmas Day is going to be a mare for traffic police and the authorities. Sorry, Penny, go on.
Creepy said, oh yeah, I go Catterick on a daily basis, buddy.
Yeah, it will do.
2 days flying time it takes. Cheapest flight will take 5 days. And we've got the IMAS who says, hey there from Kenya.
Ah, hi,
Hello,
we're just talking about you,
Thank you
IMAS.
so much for joining us. Kate said, wow, I'm from South America.
Katie from South America.
Yeah.
South America?
Yeah.
South
South
Africa.
Africa,
South
sorry.
Africa. Yeah, Katie's from South America. South America, she just said South Africa. And the IMAS, we were talking about you earlier. You're from Kenya, aren't you? And we were just talking about the temperatures. We were talking to Katie, Katie's mum, and asking whereabouts in Africa she's from. And she's from South Africa, from Southern Africa. And you're from Kenya. And Creepy, living out there that we're chatting to at the moment, is from out there in the Philippines, shortly to become repatriatised to the UK, back to old Blighty, the Northwest, which the Northwest originally, Andy Burnham is now the self-proclaimed King of the North, a bit like the Game of Thrones. I don't know whether you've been watching that, Creepy, not the Game of Thrones, I mean British politics, and Andy Burnham, I think originally Liverpool-based and Manchester-based, now is the Lord Mayor of sort of like the Manchester region. Of the Northwest, should I say, not just Manchester region. So he's kind of like Liverpool has their own Lord Mayor, and Manchester have their own Lord Mayor. But there's a Lord Mayor, or kind of like sheriff, now for the Northwest, and Andy Burnham is such the guy, and he's referred to now as the self-proclaimed King of the North. So it's quite interesting, the conversations now between himself and Bojo. It's very interesting.
Creepy said Glorious Red Rose, lol.
Yeah.
Creepy said, I tend to only catch little bits when I watch the news.
Yeah. Well, you'll probably catch that one. We've got where we are. We have a guy called Dan Jarvis, and he's he was originally from the Barnsley Lord Mayor, but he's now the Lord Mayor of the regional mayor of the Sheffield district, which I think covers the whole of South Yorkshire. And he, Dan Jarvis, is ex-military Dan Jarvis, by the way, and so I think you probably understand a lot that the guy stands for and talks about. Talks a lot of sense all of the time. I don't think he's not your typical dingle. He speaks a lot of sense a lot of the time. So I think people like him and Andy Burnham doing a decent job at promoting what they do and looking after their own areas.
Creep said, so now each country has its own mayor instead of each town.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, what's happened is, like with London, when you have the Lord Mayor of London, you have the Lord Mayor of London that's sort of like is the King of London. Then you've got the self-proclaimed King of the North, Andy Burnham, up in the Northwest. And then in the south, in South Yorkshire, you have Dan Jarvis. And then you have other self-proclaimed, then the Midlands area. Now the Midland area is a very bizarre area at the moment, or always has been. But now because parts of Tier 4 are now backing up into the West Midlands, so that's now causing a bit of grief as well, a bit of concern.
Creep said, oh wow, why?
Why is that? Oh, it just is. It's the Tier 4, the new variation coming up.
Creep said, everything has changed since I've left.
It will have, yeah. Yorkshire pudding's still the same. Yorkshire pudding still tastes great. But yeah, it's at the moment, as I was saying to you before, we've got all that issue with the new variation of COVID that's coming from the southeast area, but not Colchester. Surprisingly, the only area that's not got it is Colchester. And obviously, but then you've got Portsmouth down there, that's in Tier 4. Then you've got the whole of London in Tier 4, and the home counties, all the way up, Herefordshire, Hertfordshire, all the way up towards the West Midlands. And then you've got a grey area, which it's starting to mutate into that area. So there's quite a lot of concern at the moment about this new variation, just because they don't know enough about it. I think they're finding out more and more as we talk.
Baby said, oh, I'm all okay then, as long as my Yorkie puddings haven't changed. And Kate
They've not
said,
changed.
So what do you plan for next year, 2021?
What do we plan? Do you want to open with that one, my little panda?
Creepy said, Colchester prison, I escorted a soldier there one day alone.
Yeah. Colchester's an interesting place, isn't it?
What do you plan for 2020?
Plan for 2020? Lots of things. We've got big plans for Elysium Sophia in 2020. A lot of plans. A lot of plans to promote and to develop Elysium Sophia, to get to more clients, to personally the business looking at doing more hypnosis, but also it's a new year, open to lots of suggestions. A lot of people are suggesting that I go and down the education route a lot more, to share what we do in education. A lot of people, because obviously I'm a trained teacher originally, and so spent a lot of time as head of subject leader for physical education. Also taught psychology, a bit of sociology, English, and a bit of drama as well. But primarily I was subject leader for physical education, hence my understanding of sports science, sports psychology, specialised in sports science, sports psychology and educational psychology. So Katie, that's one thing that's definitely going to happen this year. Another thing is the Thai boxing, the kickboxing. We've got big things planned for the Great Sofia this year, if we can get back into it again. We have World Championships coming up, we've got British Championships coming up, European Championships coming up, UK's, lots of championships supposedly coming up, but we just don't know. So that's two things in particular that are on the cards for us: the Thai boxing, the kickboxing, the personal training, and of course the hypnosis and maybe education. That's just the start, tip of the iceberg.
Cleve said, I'm wondering what's going to happen with the military, as when I was in the army talking about how many changes up to 2021. So I'm wondering if the changes have still gone ahead since COVID, or if they have pushed it back.
If they push what back, sorry?
Pushed it back.
Push what back?
The changes.
Changes, I don't know. I think we did hear that there were so many changes afoot. And again, there's a lot of changes going to happen now because we're coming out of Europe. We were talking the other day about the borders are going to have to be policed, and I think the military will play a bigger role in that. Obviously, the seas are going to have to be patrolled. The fishing situation the other day cause for concern because the police now, apparently, as I understand it, the police can now call on the Navy, but only at the bequest of the local police, that can ask for the Navy to intervene if something's happening off the coast with the fishing. Now, I think that will have a knock-on effect because I think there's a role to play because we're pulling out of areas, aren't we, like Afghanistan and Iraq, then I don't see these guys, your old guys, are going to have to do something more interesting. There's a lot of ex-forces coming out of the forces, and they need to have some direction. So it's a melting pot. I think the armed services is a big melting pot at the moment, massive melting pot. But I do think there will be some kind of role. At the moment, the army in particular are taking on the role of driving ambulances a lot at the moment, or helping in the NHS, and also taking charge of overseeing the vaccinations, or should I say testing. In Liverpool, it was the army that went into Liverpool to, should I say, not man the situation, but staff the situation in Liverpool. And the next place is Bradford, I think, a bit closer to where we are now, but in West Yorkshire. The armed forces are going in there, in particular the army, to support that. And of course, schools. All the schools apparently are going to be tested. All the secondary school children, school pupils, in January. That's the plan. Which again, the army, I think, will have a big role to play in that. We're only just finding out now that there's a staggered start for Sophia when she starts back in January. And again, it's a big disruption again. They're talking about this new strain not being any worse for children, but it's more quickly transferred. And if the children are having it, and on the vaccination, we've been looking at the order of importance for vaccination. The children and the pupils are way down the list, but even Sophia said today maybe it would make more sense to vaccinate the children if they're spreading it, because obviously it doesn't affect them more. But I don't know. Maybe there's a good call for actually vaccinating a lot of our pupils anyway, so that then they can stop spreading it. I don't know.
Scroofy said, with the UK have Independence Day, like America. Since we came out of Europe, that has to be the holiday. That's just what America does. The Navy should, anyways, the Army has done a lot of it. I did it in London when London riots started a few years back, and then I got moved to do it in Manchester.
To do what? I think it's going to be, I think there's a big role for the armed forces, but in peacetime, as it were, or who knows what's around the corner? Are we going to orchestrate another situation somewhere else? We were chatting the other day. If it makes sense, are we going to invade somewhere else? Are we going to go somewhere else? I don't know, but I think homegrown issues at the moment. I don't know what you think about the children, the point of view. They don't seem to be, which is brilliant. They're not getting affected by COVID as much as anybody else, but they are contracting it and they are spreading it. So, is there some weight in saying let's get the children vaccinated so that they're not spreading it to the older and the more vulnerable in communities? Is it the best way forward to just concentrate on the nursing homes and that age group? I don't know.
Previously, when the riots started, David, the army got brought in to help police, as police couldn't handle the riots where the army could.
And of course, you see the difference is there that the police are a police service now. It's more political now. And I think the army can still get away with things that the modern police service can't. You only have to look back to the miners' strike or the steel strike years and years ago now, when the army was drafted in, but they had a different role, and I think it's sometimes. It's going to be an interesting one because you can see that the army can do more because they're not restricted in the same way as the army's job in there is to get things back into order, restore order. Because the police, it's more of I don't know. The police are more. In my opinion, all about being, or should be more about being proactive. The army very reactive. So there's a place for both. But I think two different ways of doing things, because obviously the army is always going to be reactive, and that very effective in that. But I think the police have to be more proactive and start at grassroots. I think a lot more grassroots has got to be done. Hell of a lot more grassroots.
You said lame.
Yeah. It's interesting, but proactive and reactive, totally different things. And again, the police force used to be very proactive. It doesn't matter, don't worry about it. But now has to be very proactive instead of reactive. Police force used to be a force, hence the name police force. Now police service.
I remember when the highest rank in the police force asked the army to handle the riots. He said, we can't better the people who's causing the riots. The army can be more direct, so to speak to them.
Yeah, exactly. And a direct approach. And sometimes the direct approach is what's needed, what has to be. If you look through a lot of the riots, but a lot of the... But saying that now, there are some very good task force units within the police service now, who are very, very strong, but they're not always there. The task service is not always there, the task force is not always there. We were watching something the other day, talking about something where it had kicked off in riots again in London, and the regular Bobby on the street couldn't handle it, and then everybody was laughing at the police. Well, they weren't trained in that type of thing, but if the task would have been there, the task force, they would have sorted it out in a very similar way to the army would have done it. But again, it's horses for courses, and task forces are trained for that type of thing. We have a very interesting situation which I'll come back to. Just remind me about Cleveland, my darling, a minute, yeah?
Plus, people actually respect the army more than people. I don't know if that's because because he would better anyone who did wrong, or if it was because he had a load of guns.
I don't know, maybe a bit of both. I don't know. One thing that is very true in this area is for example, the football situation, which we don't have to think about the football riots and football crowd control at the moment. But in South Yorkshire, it's not just South Yorkshire Police. The task force a lot of it is based all the way from here up towards Cleveland. So you have the South Yorkshire and the there's not so much West Yorkshire, but there's a lot of Cleveland guys and the South Yorkshire guys working together as a task organisation, which is very effective in South Yorkshire.
We've said the thing is though, it's more expensive to train lots of police task forces than it is to get the army. They want to pay more.
Yeah, that is true. And if money is the situation, that's what's going to be. That's what's going to happen. The army will have a very direct approach and a response, and again be very reactive, and can be there pretty quick, and can be organised pretty quickly. But as you said before, the army will go in very hard, because there's no such thing as, I don't think, as the army going in softly, is there? I've never heard of a softly approach by the army. It's either in or out, isn't it? It's either hard or nothing. As we said before, because when you start holding back, the mentality says, if I hold back, I'm going to get hurt. And that's why I feel for a lot of the police officers today, because they have to go in to be seen, to be and trying everything they can and doing everything they can. And the word is there, being seen to be doing everything they can.
Could be said because the military gets paid 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year, non-stop, regardless of anything. So the army is on 14,000 a year starting wage. The police starting wage is 20,000 a year, and yet police are limited on things.
Yeah. So I can see that will be. But again, people are saying now it's horses for courses, isn't it? I mean, if the current regime changes, I mean, I personally hope that it doesn't. I hope Bojo stays here, and I hope Boris stays in command, as it were. I still think he's got a lot to offer. I still think he's got a lot of good to do for the country. I think he's doing a good job so far. I really do, because nobody could have anticipated what we've had this year. Nobody. I mean, 1 minute Bojo's sorting out the biggest thing in the world for him and for us, which was Europe, and doing that, and some people making a mess, say he made a mess of it. Some people saying he did well with it. He acted on what the people so-called voted for. We didn't vote for it, so that's a bone of contention anyway. As we said to you before, we wanted to stay in Europe, so for us it was always we didn't like what Boris was putting forward, simply because we didn't want that putting forward. But then Boris was putting forward a plan, or so-called plan, because people opted out of Europe. And then all of a sudden in came COVID, and boom, the rest is history, isn't it?
Crib said the army, if all hell broke loose, the army is brutal, where the police have to change them before the army will challenge, but that challenges will be a riot gun into someone's face. Police can't do that, you see.
No, they can't, because the police have to then police the areas afterwards, whereas the army can come in, get in, do the business, and get out, can't they? But and hence what happened in the miners' strike, which we've learned from that. But again, the police in the communities after the horse had bolted was a big thing in the mining communities. After the riots there, very different. But now, obviously, we've got Bojo having to look at what we're going to do with Europe. At the same time, we've got Boris trying to look at what we can do with COVID. And obviously he's got an unenviable task, because on one hand you've got to save lives and protect lives, and which has got to be the most important thing, to protect and to save lives. But also, as a conservative and as obviously a fiscal policy, got a duty to business to make businesses thrive in this country, the economy.
Yeah, that's how it should work, but we don't. We stick around to bring orders so the police can handle the situation after.
Yeah, cool. I get it. I get totally what you're saying. Got a lot of connections with the police. Obviously, as a task force, as a martial artist myself, and training there, so I understand the importance of getting in, getting out, and getting a job done. I totally understand. But I also understand it's kind of like people say, oh, schools, kids now do what they want, they get away with murder. They probably do. They probably do. But at the same time, being a teacher is not what it used to be. You listen to an older generation that say there's no discipline anymore. Kids get away with murder. Well, they do, yeah. Because it's different now. Rightly or wrongly, it's different now. So people say, yeah, they should send the army into schools, get the kids sorted out. Yeah, they can't do that. You only have to look at Bad Lads Army. You only have to look at that series that was on TV a few years ago. And what could happen in the army years and years ago to give young kids a sharp shot couldn't happen today because it's not relative today. It worked then, but in today's society it couldn't work.
Creepy said they do have a national service bring it back.
Yeah, you see, I knew you'd say that, and that's fine. But the point is, if it went as law and they had to do that, then that would, yeah. But things have changed dramatically. Respect ain't there anymore. But it's not there for two reasons. Because we're a generation now of people out there that, I don't know, you tell me if you agree with me or not, but obviously you've got a generation here who will question authority because they've been taught to question authority. Penny?
We've said the cane should be back.
Yeah, you see,
should be back and should have never changed it. It's sorted out so many hours.
Yeah, and again, people will have that point of view, and again, I can understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of people now that society has changed, and rightly or wrongly, you've got a generation that questions everything, and you've also got a generation that are there thinking, well, why should I get out of bed in the morning for that small amount? Yeah, I know you're going to say, yeah, it's pride, it's money in your pocket. Obviously, I agree with you. But at the same time, you've also got people of a generation that say, and they use that as a reason, and they use that as an excuse. I get that. But they come from the point of view, whatever David Beckham and that ilk are earning, these Ronaldo earning crazy amounts of money for what they're doing, why should I get out of bed for what I'm doing? Hence, if I can do drugs and get the money I'm going to get from drugs, the moral dilemma doesn't exist for them. And this is the melting pot that is now. And it really is a melting pot.
People said, no, it's not, but if it didn't change and we still had national service and the cane in schools, no one would be any wiser, as it would be normal.
Yeah, it would be normal, but now it can't be normal, can it? Because it's changed before. If it hadn't have happened, it hadn't have been demolished in the first place, then we could still be doing that, and we wouldn't be even having this conversation. Because, as you rightly say, it would be the norm. People would just expect that's what happens. But now we've had a break in that, and we have 2, 3, 4 generations that have not been used to that, and have been used to what I'm trying to talk about now. A generation from a generation of a generation of a generation of a generation that's always questioned authority, always questioned. And then you've also got another generation that has always had a money for nothing generation, with no pride and no reason to want pride, which is very difficult for us to understand. And I can suspect for you, very much so to understand, because it's all about pride, isn't it? It's all about being proud of what you do and working for what you've got. But there are so many different dimensions to it now. Penny?
Creepy said, with that prospect, I totally agree with them. People get paid more than armed forces, and people will say that, what the hell, no chance, but they all live in a dream world, get rich like a footballer.
Yeah, exactly, and that was my point, and I'm not trying to advocate it, I'm just putting it out there, because people will think that way.
Which not many youngsters get in it or do crime and drugs and risk getting out anyway.
Exactly, and they're going to risk it, and that's what's wrong, because morally it's vile, it's putrid. But if you see young people today that are going out and they can make £1,000 in an hour, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. But there should be other options there. That shouldn't be an option. It shouldn't be an option, but it is now. And it's become a way of life. And that option is worth it for some. To us, it's repulsive, and it shouldn't even be an option, but it is an option now. And whenever it's an option, these people are going, and whenever crazy amounts of money are being paid to people within society that are supposedly role models, whatever that's happening, and people are getting... it was like the other day, remind me, before you just mentioned it, tell me afterwards about the billionaire scenario that we said.
We've said the people who think it's in the richer and the crime-related areas, I think, I'd have to say, as illiterate.
Yeah.
This is why I hate sports.
It's what, sorry?
Group said this is why I hate sports.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And again...
You said... you could talk about...
I was, yeah. We were saying the other day how bizarre it was. We're looking at the... something cropped up yesterday, and myself and Sophia were talking about it, and obviously very young Sophia, but even we were chatting about it. They were saying that there was a £2 billion pound jackpot from a lottery. Now, come on, they don't need to. How many millionaires could you make, except for one billionaire? Why not have 1 million millionaires? Or why not even have, I can't even do the maths, but think how many smaller prizes you could have than that, and you could have millions of people benefiting from that and getting some serious money, as opposed to making one person a billionaire. One person a billionaire, or 1 million people a millionaire. It's a no-brainer to me. I like nice things. I like my nice cars. We have nice cars. We have nice things, and we always will. We like, the jet set lifestyle. Yeah, I have to admit that. But we also care about people, and if we can help, we will. But to me, it's absolutely vile to make one billionaire when you could make 1 million millionaires, because then that sends a different message to the young people. Because it just sends a different message, and it's very strange and very quite repulsive how people can't get that. I don't know. Nobody really needs £2 billion. They don't need it really. 1 million, yeah, I can live with that. I can get that, but they don't really need 2 billion, 3 billion.
Being famous is just another job. No more than a bin man, NHS worker, military, cleaner, factory worker, no difference than who can kick a ball around a field or who's good at singing voice or an actor.
Exactly, it's just what they're good at, and why? And then we prioritise that, and we put that on a pedestal, and we say you're a better person if you do this. But okay, we talk about Ronaldo. Okay, Ronaldo has put a lot back, and look at Maradona. His funeral the other day just spoke for itself, how much Maradona put back into grassroots sport and football in his own country. AJ's doing it now. I know he gets the money, but AJ is trying to put money back into grassroots boxing, and that is a good start. It is a start.
Alan Creep said, and actresses, they all should be paid equally, then there is no competition. There is teenagers not starving themselves because they saw Britain's Next Top Model or something, or live in jail of a fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. And as a father of a precious daughter myself, I get that. But things have got out of hand, and I don't know how we're going to pull it back. It needs good people to not sit by and do nothing, doesn't it? But how is it going to come back? Values have to come back. The values that shouldn't have been changed in the first place.
People say they're good at what they do, hence they get paid like they do. Well, okay, isn't nurses, doctors, police, military, bin man, school workers, cleaners, factory workers, are they not good at their jobs? It's wrong, society has gone to rubbish.
Of course it is, yeah. And it sends out the wrong messages. Hence, my original comment, which I was trying to be very tongue-in-cheek, I was trying to be very cautious on how I said it. But at the same time, there are still people out there, still young people out there that deserve a massive kick up the backside, as we say. We know that. We know there are a lot of people, money for nothing brigade. We know that. But then there's also the flip side to that. The people, why should I get out of bed attitude for that amount when a particular footballer is getting out of bed for that amount and Madonna is earning that amount for a commercial, etc, etc, etc. I mean, the worst thing that, the reason I say that, Creepy, is I was listening to a story a few years ago now, which this will summarise what I'm talking about, and it was one of the Liverpool players that had moved on, and I can't remember at the time where they moved to, but they moved from Anfield, they moved from Liverpool to play for either Barcelona, or I think they'd gone to Real Madrid or one of the Italian clubs. I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the big clubs they'd gone on to, and they had a phone call. They'd been left Liverpool for. I'll just finish this one on Madonna because I'll forget my trend, especially with Creepy. And they received a phone call 8 months later to say, would you mind moving your Ferrari because you've still got it parked in your space at Anfield? And the response was, yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot I got that one. Now come on, that can't be right, can it? It can't be right when a footballer has still got a Ferrari that they'd forgotten about parked in the car park at Anfield, and then were asked to remove it because it was in a space 9 months later because they'd forgotten they got that Ferrari. Now, yeah, okay, I've got a nice car, we've got a lovely car, we like nice things, myself and Sophia, we love nice things, obviously, but at the same time it's quite repulsive that this guy had a Ferrari that was parked in Anfield that he'd forgotten about. Now that's just wrong, isn't it? Penny.
Graham said, I totally agree with you, buddy. I would love to see all the celebrities get paid the same as us and live the way we do as an average person. They wouldn't know what to do.
They wouldn't. And then we have to listen to the sob stories that say they went and did drugs because, well, that's just, what else can they do? That's pathetic. It really is pathetic when you see a great footballer.
They live a normal life.
They live a normal life, yeah, exactly. They don't know what to do. Oh, what am I going to do then? It's almost like these people that create problems in their lives because they haven't got any. You know, it's these people that say, oh, I have all this money, so everything's perfect, so I've got to go and spoil it. Everything's perfect, so I've got to spend. I've got hundreds of thousands of pounds that I don't know what to do with. I have a drug addiction, and I've got to do more cocaine. I've got to buy more drugs, and then we have to feel sorry for them because it's just the way it is. They've got into that habit. Oh, come on, that can't be right, can it? You know, and what do you expect? Well, you know, they've already done it, so they already spend £90,000 a week on drugs, so they have to keep doing that because that's just what they do. We feel sorry for them, not.
There was a guy who went to Manchester Airport in his Bentley and parked in a private car park, which could only be for 2 weeks. He was away for 4 weeks. When he came back, the car park attendant said,
Are we waiting to use?
You owe £250 excess as he only paid for 2 weeks, then he got charged £250.
Yeah.
He said money well spent.
Yeah, cool. But if you've got a Ferrari parked, the point of principle is that okay, he's paying for it, but he wasn't even paying for it. But he forgot he'd got the Ferrari. That's my bone of contention. So you know, and then you know the lifestyles that they have, they have an addiction because they kind of create problems because problems ain't there, and that's sad.
The traffic attendant said, why is that? And he said it's cheaper paying the fine than paying for 4 weeks in the car park. Yeah,
exactly. That is spot on. That's I can imagine. I can see that. I can see that happening. And it's cheaper. Well, it's like the holiday situation, isn't it? With school children, I know for a fact if I take Sophia out of school time to Cyprus, I can do the same holiday for half the cost that I can take her, obviously, when it's school holidays. That's not fair. That's not right. If I can have a holiday for the same amount of time, the same place, for half the price, 2 weeks before then, that's not right, is it? That's not fair, and it's encouraging people to take the children out of school, because some people, that would be the only way they could afford the holiday. If a holiday is £3,000, £2,000 maybe for the holiday, and they can take the same holiday out of school time for £700 or £800, and they're saving a massive saving of what £1,200, they're going to do it. They are going to do it. Because it might be, they might be fortunate enough that they can afford to have a couple of holidays at that. But they might be in a position where the only way they can afford that holiday will be to take their child out and do it out of school time. And it's cheaper then to pay the fine that the school or the local authority give, and still it works out cheaper than paying the full price for the holiday. Exactly the same as a car park attendant that you're talking about.
Katie said, but do the problems disappear like the problems they make go away?
Do they do what, sorry?
Do the problems disappear like the problems they make go away?
I don't think they do, Katie.
Creep said the guy wasn't rich, he saved Duo all his life for his Bentley, and the reason he parked in the private car park is because it was safer than the average car park. So basically,
Too right.
Average car park, £450 for well kept. We've got EBA, I'm sorry I can't pronounce that, who says thumbs up idol from Alora Venero Vlog. So thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, if you're new to us, we're Elysium Sophia, and we're just joining our debate at the moment about wealth. Hi, you're welcome.
Creep said car park, and it turned out to be cheaper than paying the full amount of other car parks.
Yeah, well, it would do. This is what we're saying about the school holidays, isn't it? They're saying it's cheaper for some people to if a holiday costs £1,000 and the fine is £250, the holiday costs £1,250 as opposed to £2,250. They're going to pay the fine. And again, they're people that are working people, maybe working class people, maybe working middle class people, I don't know, but still, whatever. If they can afford that, they're going to pay the fine, aren't they? They're going to do it. So what has to change? Do the prices have to reflect that? Do the fines have to change to make them penalise more? I don't think so, because I think the problem lies with the prices in the first place, putting them up. But again, it's supply and demand. So we're back to square one again. We're back to with that, aren't we?
Sorry, I've just put a smiley face in the chat just because.
You have?
Yeah.
Did you do it on purpose?
No, I wanted to see if it was working or not.
And it is working.
Yeah.
So you put a smiley face in the chat. We like to see smiley faces.
So cheaper getting a fine for a safe, secure car park, or pay more for an unsafe car park for a full 4-week holiday.
Exactly.
It's no-brainer, really.
It's no-brainer, is it? Exactly. And it's a no-brainer with people paying for holidays and paying the fine that's imposed on them by the local authority. It's just the way it is. But again, it's the system that's wrong. Right back to grassroots again. Something has to change, and it's unfortunate, but I don't know how things are going to change, how things can change. But I think now is as good a chance as any, after COVID, now to start looking really carefully at things in the new year, to start rebuilding. Whether that's from a government point of view, it has to be. It has to, I think, come from Boris now. I think we have to now start drawing lines under sands and saying, look, we've seen a glimpse of what could go wrong. Because come on, there's a lot of issues. I mean, there's a lot of issues at the moment around businesses wanting money. And obviously there are lots of people in this country at the moment, in particular, that fall through the gaps and can't claim anything to keep their business afloat. But certain other people are on their third roll now of applying for government funding, and again, they're not loans, they're grants. And they've got a fortune. And right at the very beginning, we know for a fact that people were furloughing their workers, and they were buying new cars or whatever for themselves, putting it on one side with the money they got. Again, it all wants sorting out in the new year. We have to now realise that these loopholes are there and they shouldn't be there.
This is the problem I've had with government, and it's the small things they can't get right. So if they can't get the little things right, how the hell can they get the big things right? There's no chance.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what I'm saying. We have to now start the new year with a new approach. I don't know what the new approach can be, but it has to be a new approach. Because on one hand, you've got people's lives, you've got people's wealth, you've got people's livelihoods, you've got people's mental health. And on the other side, you've got people's attitude, you've got people's aspirations, you've got people's values. And on the far side, you've got the economy. You've got the wealth of the economy. You've got all that. And then you've got to also put into the melting point what's ethically correct, what ethically sits well, what doesn't sit well, and values. What do we put a value? As you were saying earlier, we have to start to value things in a different way. We have to start looking at how we value people. What makes someone valuable? What makes someone an asset? Rather than just making certain people feel useful and other people feeling useless.
We've got Faffaballs TV who says, hello there, Brother David.
Hi.
Good eve and good eve, everyone, to all the people in the house.
Thank you, and hi, how are you? And a very early Merry Christmas from all of us at Elysium Sophia. You're welcome to our home, you're welcome to our chat.
And Creepy said, that's wishful thinking though, David. I've given up all wishful thinking since our country has gone downhill further and further. The government got us there.
It has, but I think I'm probably like a lot of other people now that thinks it's got to start somewhere. We can't keep saying it's too late. It's too late. We can't do anything about it. We have to. For future generations and for our own generation, for the next generation, for my Sophia's generation, for generations to come, we have to draw a line and reboot it. We have to restart, rethink it again. We have to. We can't. For good people to do nothing can't happen anymore. It can't. It really can't. I don't know how, but it can't. We need to do something.
I'm sorry, Creepy. I've just taken your jacket off you, but I've put it back on. I was going to put
a full metal jacket.
Creepy said, it makes me think, what did the men and women in the World War II thing? I can't call Britain anymore. And Fafable said, Merry Christmas to all of you out there, and many God bless to you and all your loved ones.
Thank you, that's so kind of you, and exactly, we reciprocate that to you, your loved ones, your family and your country. And if you're joining us today from us, from Elysium Sophia, we wish you a really, really safe and happy and prosperous new year, and a very, very happy Christmas. Stay safe with COVID, and we're just saying how important it is to have a new beginning, have a new start after Christmas, to use this Christmas time to reflect on a year that's been horrendous, to use this Christmas time to restock, to rejuvenate, to rethink and to replan, to regroup, and then in the new year to make New Year's resolutions this year for countries, for governments, for individuals has never been more important. As we were saying now, Creepy, it's a time for change, it's a time for action, it's a time for change. It has to be. It has to be. For the sake of humanity, it has to be.
Creepy said, it has got to start, but it won't, and that's why so many people are giving up. The government are just making us give up so they will have the power to do what they want. They won't take. I bet they do.
Yeah, it is. We can see the plan, but again, we have to be bigger than that. We have to see through it, don't we? And we are doing.
Katie said, bye, enjoy your day. This live was great. Merry Christmas.
Lovely, thank you, and have
so much.
thank you. We'll see you on the other side. And again, love to you, love to your family. A very happy Christmas, and we'll catch you very, very soon. Stay safe, and thank you.
And Creepy said, just loading, struggle with food, money, paying bills, so on and so forth, but they don't pay the taxpayers. Taxpayer does, but then they close business due to the COVID, but still ain't money, so that makes people go into debt.
Yeah, exactly. And you only have to look at the furlough scheme and people that have abused it, and they have abused it, and people who have abused it on both sides. the businessmen that have abused it, and the people that have worked and they've actually worked other jobs where they've been furloughed for other places. It's all wrong. It's all greed. It's all wrong. But again, we have to hope. We have to hope that in the new year we start to see things flourish again, and we start common sense to prevail, and for fairness to prevail.
Creepy said, just keep those toffs nice and warm. When the sun don't shine, it's wrong using a country for their game.
Yeah, it's. Can you just repeat that, my darling?
Just keep those toffs nice and warm when the sun don't shine.
Yeah.
It's wrong using a country for their game.
Yeah.
And Creepy said, oh, of course, yes, I totally agree.
Good. I thought I knew you would. But again, it's no easy task. No easy task. But I think in the new year, everybody has to. We have to start rattling the cages of these idiots that are, for want of a better semantic term, they are idiots. They're the same idiots that are not listening and being selfish about COVID. What we do about these people, I don't know. I think we've all got to a stage now where we just think, look, these people are idiots. That's a technical term now. They don't deserve to be given the credence that they've been given all along. I think it's important now that good people, intelligent people, nice people, thoughtful people, caring people, proud people start to fight back. Whether they're rich people or poor people, whether they're, it shouldn't come into it. It's people who have, are great people that have class, that have understanding, that have responsibility, that have empathy. It's time for us, whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, whether you're Labour, whether you're independent, to start looking at politics with more of a small p, and looking at what it actually means, and the state of everybody. It is time that we start to make changes and start seeing changes through, and enough's enough. And COVID, if nothing else, COVID should have put us to a point where we say, yes, enough's enough. We've been through too much as a nation, as a civilization, as nations together. And it all starts with your own. It all starts with your own family. It all starts with your own country. It all starts with your own nation. And then build bigger nations, build understanding.
Creepy said, but how do you get a government to listen to the people who need to speak their voice if the government don't want to listen? You can't make a person do what they want to do.
I know.
So
I don't know. I know it's not. Yeah, but we can't think it's a losing battle. We have to start thinking on the terms it is a winnable battle. I get you totally. I don't know how. There are people out there that maybe, obviously, sometimes I wish I was in politics to try and make changes. But then again, maybe I don't know. But there has to be a way. And there has to be a way that people, just like us, we're talking now, we need to, there must be millions and millions and billions of people that think the same way as we do. There must be, that see that the inequalities are there, that see that the problems are there, that see that it's not just all about the way people see it, it's different.
But I agree there needs to be a change. I just can't see it happening, and if it does, it won't be for a long time.
I know, but this is what I said to you. It's not for our generation, it's for generations and generations. We need to start making the changes now. We need to start making sure that it happens. I don't know how. But it needs to. I just don't know how.
I agree with you, but the more we fight, the government pushes back and do what they want anyways, regardless what people want.
Yeah, they do, and it breeds it brings people to be think why bother. But I think we've had too many years now of why bother, and I think we've got to have to start now bothering.
Creepy said, so if the government do what they want, we will be constantly losing.
Yeah, it's true. But while ever we do nothing, and while ever we just accept it, and think, well, what's the point? I think we have to start making it happen. And again, I don't know how. I can't answer that one. If I did, I'd be a very, very rich man myself, and everything would be utopic. We'd all like to see utopia. And utopia means something different, doesn't it, to everybody? It's subjective. Utopia is subjective, and it means different things to different people. But if we have the different things where it means different things to different people, utopia can happen. And it would be a utopia that everybody has a bit of utopia. We can't live in cloud cuckoo land, and we can't, as you will obviously going to point out, we can't suit everyone. We can't, I get that. But we're not suiting anybody at the moment. We're only suiting the very, very few, aren't we, at the moment? We need to be helping a lot more.
Creep said it's like a board game. If you play and lose all the time, you don't want to play anymore. It's like never the government rules.
Yeah.
And we've got Alora Benario. So, hello, Alora.
Hi, Alora.
I've been talking to you this morning on the line.
You were, weren't you?
Yes. So
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Is this our friend from the Philippines?
Yes.
Hi, you're so welcome, and it was so
this is-
nice to be that Penny was unblocked this morning. She was able to get back to her chat, so thank you very much for that, and
Alora
you're
says,
welcome.
Hello, David. So Creep said, where the citizens need to pull together, be a step ahead of them and fight them as a game. And Kate said, I thought Utopia was a movie. And Creep said, scared of the... And Alora said, God bless you. So thank you, Alora, for joining us.
It was really nice. Sophia's eyes lit up this morning when she went on to her usual chats, and the first person she went on was yours, and she wasn't blocked anymore. And I had a real conversation the other day asking people why that we were blocked on lots of people's. Why Penny was blocked when she'd come. So it was really refreshing, and it wasn't just your chat this morning. She was able to get onto your chat. She was able to get onto a lot of chats she used to go into, and that made her very, very happy. And we were just saying, because it's so nice for us to be in your chats and you come to us, because that's why we started this channel. And so thank you. And when we said Merry Christmas this morning, we meant it. And you're welcome to join us anytime and to join in with our conversations, and do have a happy new year, a very happy Christmas, and we look forward to Sophia, I know for a fact, looks forward to coming to your lives, and you are more than welcome to come to ours. Work together, really is nice. Stay safe, have a great Christmas, and as I say, Sophia will no doubt have lots to say in return.
And Creepy said, no, not worked, haha, because he was trying to refresh the chat. Yeah, it's because on the thing that we used to stream on, I can see the live chat, so you might not be able to see it because you have to, it's like a thing where you can see it on here, but you might not be able to see it. So that's
No, so it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. Cool. Yeah, so we've just got to a situation now where we're just chatting about putting the world to rights. We're not we're only going to be on for another 5 or 10 minutes now, but in general today we've been chatting about the issues that mean a lot to us. We were chatting with our friends from the Philippines, in particular with Creepy, and we've been chatting to the IMAS, we've been chatting to Katie from Africa, and we've been chatting about how we need to draw a line under this year and make things happen to reduce the inequalities, to make new things happen, to give us more hope for the future. We don't know. We came to the conclusion that we don't know how we're going to make these things happen, but we need to start making them happen. And what better time is to look over Christmas, to regroup and to start making these new Year's resolutions that will affect everyone. The vaccine will affect everyone. We were talking about should we be vaccinating our younger people if they're spreading the virus as they are at the moment, even though it's not affecting them, which I'm glad it's not. We look at the way that we need to rethink things in this country in particular. We were talking about how we personally think that we've made a mess of things, and that government doesn't seem to listen. We were also saying, and personally we were saying, that we actually like Boris Johnson. We've got a lot of time for Boris, and under very, very hard situations and conditions. Originally, he was just looking at Brexit. We voted to stay in Europe because we're very multiracial. We're very much into working together. But then Boris obviously was doing that. Then bish bash bosh, along came COVID. We've got a lot of things to sort out in the new year. And we're enjoying chatting. And Elysium Sophia will evolve. Elysium Sophia will continue to be a melting pot for you to maybe share some ideas. Penny.
So we've got Rosita L, who says, "Done Tamsack support from Alora
Thank you.
Vlog." So thank you, Rosita, for the Tamsack. Thank you for joining us, and
Yeah, you're always welcome. And again, if you're new to us, we're Elysium Sophia, and we're all about mental health and well-being. We're all about Elysium, about wholeness, and Sophia after my own daughter. And we've evolved into a chat show now, where we take on different... today we've been talking about so many different things. You're always welcome to come and air any views that you have. Elysium Sophia, put the bell on and come and chat with us at any time.
And Creepy has just shared our live alone.
Thank you.
So thank you, Creepy.
Great, Creepy. Thank you very
said,
much.
"I like Boris. I just don't think he knew how much the government was in so much crap till he came into PM."
I don't think he ever believed when he came to power, did he, that all these things could come one thing after the other. It just seems 2 minutes ago that everybody was celebrating. Obviously, we weren't celebrating coming out of Europe, and then all of a sudden, in the wings was COVID, and this year has just flown by. It really has flown by, and for some people, it's left devastation behind. For many and millions of people that have been touched by COVID, either emotionally, mentally, physically, morally, financially, that's been affected. But I do think that it's time that we draw a line under it, and we use this opportunity to rebuild, to regroup, and for good people to come together in the new year and make changes and work to try and make these changes, push these things through, and to bring, although very subjective, to bring these changes to make people realise that it is worth getting out of bed in the morning. It is worthwhile, and they mean something, because we all have qualities to bring. We all have qualities to share, and that's why the world is the world that it is. With different qualities, different people, different races, different nationalities, different strengths, different weaknesses, different abilities. That's what we need. Penny, waving at me.
So Creep said, "No problem, guys. Normally do it sooner. Just forgot tonight, lol."
What's that?
We've got to share our live.
Oh,
We've
okay.
got Tega Sayaton's vlog, who says, "Let's support Alora Benera vlogs, Tamsack and salute. We love you."
Oh, we love
Thank
you
you
too,
so
and
much.
salute and hi to you. You're always welcome here at Elysium Sophia. And as I say, Elysium Sophia is evolving into a chat show situation where we talk about things that let people get things off their chest. Today it's been all about COVID, it's all about being morals, it's all about talking about the way forward for ourselves and our countries, to start working together, to see changes, to push through these changes that need to happen. And Creepy, it's great as always to have you with us for your input, and it's been nice to hear from other people that have had opinions today about making these subtle changes. And again, I've said it so many times, and for the last time today, to draw a line under this year that has been 2020, the year that just wasn't, and draw a line under 2020, and move forward. Hopefully we'll catch you again before Christmas, but of course, especially we do like to get on as often as we can. We will be on over Christmas time, over the Christmas period, but again, for people who are with us at the moment, have a really, really great Christmas. Stay safe. And if you hear that bell, if you put that bell on and you want to come and join us again over Christmas, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. And yeah, let's not be fighting for sprouts. As we are in the UK at the moment, lots of things happening. Penny.
And Faffables TV says, "People in politics, most of them are greedy, hungry for power. Maybe what is happening in the world, humanity today, is a wake-up call to all of us to bring back our faith in God."
It is.
Creepy said, "I try my best."
Yeah.
And Creep said, faff balls, are you a Filipino?
Yeah, it is. That's never a true word has just been said. So, we really appreciate your last comment there. Humanity matters. The humankind matter, and the way forward for us all is to make these changes and make sure people are listening. Because people, what have been said, if you are just joining us, and you do get the opportunity to rewind back what's been said today, to play back what's been said today, you'll realise where we're coming from. And if you want to join us next time, so many things have gone off in today's chat. My views, Creepy's views, lots of other views have been aired today. And yes, humanity matters.